Yesterday marked the beginning of week 6 of my quarantine, and I honestly don't know where I'd be in all of this without the beauty of that wonderful thing known as television. Hi, I'm Linda. This is Linda's World, and this is Top 10 Tuesdays. And tonight, we're counting down the top 10 TV shows that have been saving me through this quarantine. If you'd like to know the titles of these shows so you can go ahead and give them a try yourself, well then just stick around because this episode of Linda's World starts right now. A few weeks ago, when this quarantine was new, I had a Top 10 Tuesdays episode on this channel where I listed my top 10 picks for binge-worthy series. My intention with that particular episode of Linda's World was to get you to have a list of things to watch for quarantine, however long as it was in place. Well, seeing as how several weeks have passed and it is in place, I'm here with yet another list. And this is a list of series that, unlike the ones before, are relatively old. In fact, in some cases, really old. These are TV series that I've been watching for years, decades, and in some cases, literally all 43 years of my life. So I thought I'd just drop this list on you, and if you too are stuck at home and bored in quarantine, to give you something to do. My sleep cycle is becoming more and more erratic with everything that's going on in the world, and I'm also home during the day for the first time since I was 5. So suffice it to say, I've had a lot of time to catch up on some TV series that I haven't seen in many years. So with no further ado, I'm about to drop this list on you. But before I do, I'd like to say that if you are not yet a member of Linda's World and you're just finding this video tonight by happenstance on the internet, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell while you're there so you can tell when all new videos drop to this channel. Linda's World is an inspirational channel, a place where you can come to gain the tools you need to live your best life, even when you're not exactly living your best life. And what better way to live your best life than by escaping reality for just a little while to watch some mindless television? Well, here we go with the list. So, number 10 on the list is a show that was on in the 1990s. I think it ended in 2003, and it is Frasier. Now, Frasier Crane, played by Kelsey Grammer, first appeared on Cheers in 1983, and he played Diane's boyfriend after she broke up with Sam. And Frasier Crane was such a popular character that when Cheers ended its run in 1993, Frasier got its own spinoff. He'd moved back to his hometown of Seattle. He had a dad and a brother that was just like him, and there was a little dog involved, and a woman who was his dad's nurse that, the brother lusted after, and so on and so forth. And if you've seen the series, you know what I'm talking about, but to viewers who haven't seen it before, this is pretty much what it's all about. And it is an absolutely fantastic show, and you can see it, I'm sure you can find it online, but I've been seeing it on the Hallmark Channel, actually. It's on starting at 1 o'clock in the morning. It lasts until about 5 when I Love Lucy comes on. And the thing is that Frasier, I watched it when it ran, and occasionally on a rerun or whatever, and then I didn't see it for about 10, 15 years, and I didn't miss it. But of late, I've had some symptoms with my disorder. I've had like a bit of a pain crisis in the past couple of weeks. And so it's led to, like I mentioned in the introduction, a rather erratic sleep cycle. And I go to sleep with that channel on. And so when I'm awake in the middle of the night, Frasier is there to greet me. Often it's the only thing on in the middle of the night. And I started by saying, oh, I'll try to go to sleep now. And then little by little, I found myself actually enjoying the program. It's like a new series to me because I forgot a lot of the episodes. So Frasier is definitely a pick of mine. Now, number 9 is a series that is on in the middle of the day now. It's on TBS, and I watched it all through its original run, and it is Friends. Now, once again, if you don't see something for like years and years, it becomes like a new show. And so I leave the TV on for my dog when I go outside. And so the past couple of years when I've gone to work, I've left the TV on for Chloe. And so when I leave in the morning, or when I left in the morning, when work was on, King of Queens was on. And then when I would come home from work, Friends was on. And if I came home too late, then something else was on. But I started like just kind of checking out Friends because I sort of blew it out. I don't know, got sick and tired of it after a while. And so I didn't watch it from, I guess, maybe like this entire last decade, And so I started getting hooked on the program, when school was still in session. And now that it's not in session and I'm home to watch the, 2 hours or so block of Friends during the day, well, I'm just having a grand old time. They're currently up to the episodes where it's Rachel and Ross are having problems because of her new job, and they're about to be on a break. So I'm definitely enjoying myself, and it's definitely gotten me through a lot of quarantine afternoons, I have to say. Now, number 7 is the TV series that is, well, it's actually still currently in production, so it's not that old, and it's on right after Friends in the afternoon, and that's American Dad. Now, it's funny, years ago, I think it was summer vacation, my ex-husband, who's also a fan of American Dad, he texted me because he was home and I was home, and American Dad was on at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something, and he texted me, "Afternoon American Dad, gotta love it." And I was like, yeah, LOL. And I didn't get to experience it again. And now that I'm home during the day, I can watch American Dad. And it is effing priceless. And my personal favorite episode is one called Ricky Spanish. They never show that one, but it is hilarious. And if you are an American Dad fan and you know about Roger, then you know what I'm talking about. He creates these characters, like he's like a shapeshifter, and so he shifted into this classic, like, douchebag guy by the name of Ricky Spanish. And I'm not going to say anything further. Google the episode and watch it. It's hilarious. OMG. Okay. Now, we're going to shift gears from American Dad a little bit to get to my next series, my number 6 series. And it is a show that's mighty old, and it's a show that I resisted for all of my life. And that show is MASH. Now, MASH is a TV series starring Alan Alda, and later on directed and written by Alan Alda, who is an effing genius, and I love him. And for all of my life, my dad was a huge, huge fan. Now, MASH, for younger viewers of my channel, took place, it came out from, it ran from 71, 72 to 83. And it had 11 seasons, and it is a dramedy based on these people working as army doctors during the Korean War. And it was actually supposed to be a satire of the Vietnam War because the message was pretty clear. And so Alan Alda plays Hawkeye, who's like the star of the show. And there's some other characters there that are like, friends and frenemies and what have you. And I resisted this show all my life. When I was little and my dad really loved it, I found MASH to be incredibly boring. And I just resisted it. And I would see, like, the intro comes on, they play the song, and the helicopters are coming, and I would change the channel immediately. Be like, ew, not MASH, click. And then what happened was I always knew, like, the ending. Like, the last episode ever was a 2-hour movie, and I had known about it, and there was this particular thing that was like a commentary that was pretty serious. I won't give it away to those people who may want to watch, but it involves a bus full of people who were hiding out from the enemy and a repressed memory of something really terrible, and it was darn good. And so I went ahead and I watched a 2-hour movie. And I was so riveted by the program that I was like, okay, I'm watching MASH now. And so I started to watch it on YouTube, and then guess who got a subscription to Hulu and found that all of the series is available on Hulu anytime I want to watch. So, yeah. And it's funny, not to drag this episode of Linda's World down into the dumps, but, my dad has been dead for almost 3 years now, and these are the times I just, sometimes you wish you could call a person and tell them serious things, like I miss you, I love you, or whatever. Not only do I feel that, but I feel like I want to call my dad right now or text him and be like, yo, you were right. MASH is effing awesome. Where has it been all my life? Because that's exactly how I feel. But you know what? He knows. So we're okay there. Alrighty, and so now that we have come to an older show, we're gonna kick it back more new school now, and I'm gonna talk about one of my great loves, Family Guy. Now, I'm not gonna claim that I go to bed this early, but sometimes I do. If I go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, Family Guy is on. Now, I think I've seen pretty much every episode of Family Guy, like ever. And the thing about Family Guy is, a couple of things, which is one, it literally, no matter how depressed I am, never ceases to put a smile on my face. Like, I will always smile when Family Guy is on, no matter what. Number two, it's clear that Seth MacFarlane, who's the creator and writer of Family Guy, is like in my age group, and in the 1980s when we were little was watching and listening to the same stuff as me, because the references are exactly my life. And my particular favorite episode, I'm like literally, like if I'm on a bridge and you show me this, like, I will jump down. Like, that's how much I love it. Is the episode Road to the North Pole, where Santa is being in the entire North Pole and all the elves are being taxed with the burdens of the commercialism of Christmas, and they do this beautiful musical number called Christmas Time is Killing Us. Each jingle bell is a requiem bell, and while you think it's swell, we're all toiling in hell. Take a look, you can tell, as a man I'm a shell, because Christmas time is killing us. I could cry. Like, it's hilarious. And so literally as depressed as I can be in this quarantine, and I've been plenty depressed. I think last week's video should kind of tell you that. Well, I don't have to fear because Family Guy's on. And if I apply myself, I can find it. And I have a couple of DVDs of it if I apply myself and it's not on. So I'll be fine. Because OMG, the hilarity knows no bounds. Freaking love Family Guy. And we've reached the midpoint of our list. Okay, so now as we get to the final five, I would like to just go ahead and say that I believe that television is not just a pastime. It is also a huge teaching tool. It taught me so much of what I know today. And I can't recall a time when I wasn't inspired by TV in some way. And I actually prefer the classic, good old-fashioned sitcom because I really enjoy that, like, half-an-hour bit of A story and B story and, you know, people's problems getting solved and, like, just hilarity and a mixture of, like, all the different types of comedy, you know, slapstick and satire mingled together to make, like, one really awesome show. And that's why a lot of the shows on this list are sitcoms, because that's what is most comfortable to me. You know, I find a lot of comfort in the sitcom, and I always will. So let's get back to the list. All right. So now next up on the list is a show that I am so happy that is on Hulu because, you know, like I said, I've got a Hulu subscription now, and it is the Dick Van Dyke Show. Now, the Dick Van Dyke Show is wonderful. It ran from 61 to 66, and it is in black and white at a time when some shows were transferring to color. It remained black and white, and it is the tale of Rob and Laura Petrie, and Rob is a comedy writer, and Mary Tyler Moore is Dick Van Dyke's wife, and it is absolutely hilarious. And just yesterday I watched the one where he had the dream. It was a pretty classic one about how the aliens from outer space and the walnuts, and they all look like Danny Thomas. So I mean, it was, gosh darn it, it was hysterical, and I had forgotten because I hadn't seen it. It used to be on Nick at Night years ago, and I watched it on Nick at Night like all the time. Pardon me, I'm queuing my list back up. And I'd watch it on Nick at Night, and I taped it, but like, it's just so wonderful to have no commercial stop and pause on old VHS, you know, to just have a clear-cut good picture of the series on Hulu, and Dick Van Dyke is effing awesome. Now, the next series is from the 90s, and it is on late at night, and if Frasier is no good, then I can always count on it being on, and it is The Nanny. The Nanny was, it's Fran Drescher as the star, and I absolutely love Fran Drescher, and it ran from 93 to 99, and I remember it vividly. We used to watch it as a family every single week that it was on, and I just find an odd comfort in that show. It's really, you know what, it's silly, and it reminds me of better days, and it's always there in the middle of the night when I'm suffering from insomnia or just like weirdly interrupted sleep, and I just always have it to fall back on. And you know, a lot of people don't like TV series as they go on, when like, if there was like a will they or won't they couple thing and then the couple gets together, they don't like it. I actually prefer it. I actually like the last two seasons when like Fran and Mr. Sheffield got together. I think it's adorable, and I like think it works well. And the show is a really good brand of like cool references and like slapstick, and it just works well together, and it's just oddly comforting to hear that laugh track and hear Fran late at night when I can't sleep, you know. And so for that reason, I'll always love The Nanny, and I'm so happy that it's on. Now, the next show that I'm about to list is old. I have been literally watching it for all of my life. And that show is I Love Lucy. Now, I Love Lucy runs from 5 o'clock in the morning to 7, used to be 8, on the Hallmark Channel. It's what happens after Frasier. So if I leave that channel on, it bleeds right into Lucy. And so I Love Lucy ran from 51 to 57. And it is the de facto sitcom. In fact, it was Desi Arnaz who invented the 3-camera, like, live before studio audience system of filming a TV series. And he was a genius. And so, like, Lucy was too, but I'm just saying. And so I Love Lucy is just so incredibly comforting because, like, I know every episode by heart, as do, like, most of America. And I just never, it never ceases to amaze me. I started to watch it, like, I mean, not forever, like, I've been watching it for many years, but I started to watch it, to get ready for work many years ago. I started out by watching the Today Show because I wanted the weather, and then it was giving me news, and I got really depressed. I was like, I don't want to hear this at like 6:30 in the morning. So I found that Lucy was on. So I said, oh, cool. So I used to get dressed for like work during I Love Lucy, which is the reason it kills me that they put those damn effing Christmas movies with like Candace Cameron or like Lacey Chabert on the Hallmark Channel starting on Halloween and running until after friggin' New Year's, because it cancels out my I Love Lucy. They do it 24 hours a day and they cancel out my shows. Pardon me as I queue up my list here. And it's just, it kills me. It's ridiculous. I Love Lucy is like the staple. Like, I've never known a world that didn't have I Love Lucy in it. And it has been getting me through this quarantine, and I have my, top episodes. I think my favorite episode is the one where Lucy is supposed to get on the ship to Europe and she misses it and has to helicopter down. I think that's my fave. And so, I just don't know what I could say except I Love Lucy because it's awesome. Okay, now there are 2 left on our list, and the next one is a 1970s program that I am so happy to have found on, guess what? Hulu. Again, I have these on tape, but oh, I'm so happy. I don't have to do that stop and rewind thing like back in the days of VHS, because on Hulu is the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Now, I love Mary. I love Mary Tyler Moore. And so it ran from 1970 to 1977. It actually went off the air 1 month before I was born. And the Mary Tyler Moore Show is basically Mary Richards, a girl from like a small like Midwestern town who moves to Minneapolis and becomes an associate producer of a local news show. And that's the joke, and so she has like a home life with friends, Rhoda and Phyllis, and she has her at work team of people, and it's just like an adorable show, and it's a really good ensemble comedy, and it is the classic beautiful staging of a sitcom. And every single time I watch this show of late, just as I did when I discovered it when I was 16 years old, I want to move to a new town, start a new life, and get cool new work friends like Mary Richards. Like, it inspires me. Like, Mary is just put together and awesome, and, she's got her problems, and she bumbles and fumbles over things, which is sort of the joke of the show, but the thing is, for the most part, she's a single career woman who's got her shit together, and I used to be one of those, and I would really like to be one of those again. And so isn't it awesome that I have the Mary Tyler Moore Show to look upon, to give me the inspiration when I need it. Even though it's so funny that Mary, the character, is younger than I am today. And when I first started watching it, I thought she was so old. She runs 30 to 37 in the series, and I'm 43. Yikes. Oh boy. We're not going to do any honorable mentions tonight because it will unnecessarily lengthen the video, and because Chloe, my little dog, is getting a little restless. So I'm just going to drum roll it. See, I told you Chloe was getting restless. And I'm going to say, The Golden Girls. Thank you for being a friend. I can't remember what I did before the Golden Girls came on. Like, I don't know, how did I live? Like, how did I live my life? The Golden Girls came on when I was 8 for the first time. And I watched it every single Saturday night of my life for the entire run of the series, 85 through 92. And I continue to watch it every single night in my bed at 12 o'clock. And every single morning at 7 o'clock. And on DVD when I can't find it. And it is absolutely stupendous and spectacular. And I don't know where I would be without the Golden Girls. It has literally gotten me through. I saved it for number 1 because it is true that it is the show, the de facto show, that has gotten me through this quarantine. I don't know where I'd be without Rose, Blanche, Dorothy, and Sophia. I named my dog who died Sophia after Sophia Petrillo from the Golden Girls because she too was little with white hair and mischievous. And I just can't sing the praises of that show enough. Where else could you find a beautiful ensemble comedy of 4 women, all different, but all coming together to prove that life doesn't stop after a certain age, and that when push comes to shove, you have the family that you were born to and the family that you make. And that's what they had together around that kitchen table with all those cheesecakes. And I have my favorite episodes. And I think I'm going to do a Linda's World episode at some point soon, listing my top 5 and why. And I think that I have talked too long about the Golden Girls. So before Chloe gets entirely too restless and mischievous and starts barking at us, I would just like to close by saying that I truly believe that television, what my parents used to call mindless television, sometimes, is probably one of the best things a person can do to keep their spirits up, to escape the problems of reality. And as you all know, we have plenty of problems in our reality currently. And so I specifically chose the sitcoms because, I mean, comedy is an escape. Now, some people don't enjoy comedy. Some people enjoy getting an escape from their drama by watching the drama of somebody else. And that's fine too. But I'm just saying that isn't it wonderful that we could have a good cheap laugh or a good meaningful laugh in some of the beautiful comedic talent that TV has put forth in the past 70 years. You know, isn't it wonderful that we have TV on our side, specifically sometimes TV comedy, to let us forget all of this. So I am going to now go because Chloe's getting more and more restless as we speak. And I've belabored my points just enough, so I think we're good here. And I'm going to say that we are going to get through this in some form or another. And I know that when quarantine is over, I'm actually going to be missing the days when I could just sit back, relax, and watch my shows at any hour of the day. So at least there's that. I'm going to be back later this week with a cool new episode of Linda's World, so you stay tuned for that, and I will catch you later. Happy TV watching.